100%. Cheers.
All right, we are back. We're in the Los Angeles studio. Joining us today is somebody who is built like us, thinks like us, works like us.
Doppelganger.
He's a total doppelganger. We're trying to get him more motivated, and that's what today's all about, just getting this guy on the right track.
We have the same interests, not the same activities.
Give it up for Cam Haynes, everybody. Let him hear it. Not all at once now. You got to be fucked up today. I know you're sore.
Oh, that was a test.
It was a test.
But you just, when you tunnel vision like we are,
Yeah.
we're built different.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
when you're built different, you just, achieve the goal, whatever it is.
Exactly. It was, let's be real here. It was a total thrill. Like I told you, I sent you that text. We were elated that you joined us. Everybody was geeked to have you there. So thank you so much for coming.
I was honored to be there because that was, and I said it in a post this morning, I've been to a lot of races.
Yeah.
That was was the most well-organized start, finish, just environment that I've ever been part of.
It's such a fun group. Everybody was in a great mood.
Oh, it was unreal. But then you had this crazy variety that you wouldn't normally get at a normal race.
Yeah.
Because you had Jelly Roll there, who's this phenom. Had you guys there that people have been following you along on your fitness journeys.
Yes, sure.
And so that has inspired so many people. So it was like this, it was just this weird, I don't know.
And then you there, and I'm sorry, your friend, I just forgot her name. Kat was there.
Yeah, Kat Bradley.
Who was awesome.
Yeah, she's a stud.
She was having...
It's creepy when I meet her and she introduces herself. I go, I follow you on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, what? And I go, I follow a lot of ultra marathoners. And she's like, why? And I went, never mind.
No, she was awesome.
Yeah. What I always say about those girls, because I really love training with Kat, Courtney, Sally McRae. I don't know if you guys know her.
Yeah, I know Sally.
She's Yellow Runner.
Yeah.
Those girls, it's weird because guys, we have these egos. We always want to talk about we're badasses or like show that we're tough. They are so fucking tough, but they trick you because they're so cool, chill. Because like ultra runner girls are kind of free, not hippies, but kind of free spirit.
Yeah.
But then just complete savages when it comes to like running in the mountains. And you're like, a guy, he will want to break you and know that, and that's kind of the deal with men.
Yeah, I'm better than
test.
you. Yeah.
It's a test. It's always a test. It's
I broke a bunch of men yesterday.
Right, exactly.
It's fun when you pass someone and then they go, wait, you're passing me?
Yeah.
I love it. It's a good feeling.
You know what that's called? Goggins calls that?
What's that?
Taking souls. You took souls yesterday.
I took a bunch of souls on that back fucking last mile. I was fucking flying.
Were you?
I was flying. I was doing like around an sub 8 minute mile on the down, because it's downhill.
Yeah.
And I know my stride and I know my pace. And I was like, and I did 11 the first mile and then 10-ish at the side. All I know is I was at 15 at the halfway point. Girl fell down, blew out her knee. And so I sat with her for 3 minutes.
Holy
and
shit.
I was like, you're fucking up my time. She was like, thank you for sitting with me. I was like, no, yeah.
Taylor was a guy filming for me, and he goes, you had music playing, right? And I go, yeah, I had earbuds. He goes, yeah, you ran past Jelly Roll, and he was like, Tom, I want to finish with you. And he goes, Tom. And he goes,
it kind of bothered Jelly a little bit.
I didn't hear anything.
You took this race so fucking serious.
Well, here's the thing, man. Okay, so my sister signed me up for a turkey trot Thanksgiving Day when I was for Florida. So I had no idea really how to prepare. And there's actually great apps that are like, oh, you want to do your first, so
couch to 5K.
Yeah, it's a 5K thing. And it was like, it starts you off like, hey, run for a minute and then walk for 8. And you're like, what? But then when you start doing week by week, it really does change. Well, I'm doing it. It's a 10-week program. 7 weeks out, I break my big toe, right? And basically, when you break a big toe, they just go, it'll heal in 4 to 6 weeks. You can't run on it. You just got to so, the first few weeks, I wore a boot for a few days, and then you're just kind of walking and you're easing into it. So I heal up like a week before. I get in a few runs, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing it Thanksgiving Day. And I do it. My only goal on Thanksgiving Day was like, just don't stop, right? Like just.
Was it a 5K?
It was a 5K.
Yeah.
It's a good goal.
Just try to
it's a really good goal.
I go, just don't walk.
Don't walk. That's a really good goal.
I just want to run. And I was trying to keep my pace up, and I was just, I was running with this group, and I ran it in 32 and change. And I was like, well, and my other goal was just to beat my best friend from high school who was like, I'm gonna beat your ass. And I was like, no, you're not. Right? Like we were just talking
Wasn't he dying from cancer?
That was a few years ago. So
I just want to beat this cancer patient.
Yeah, listen, he's fine. He's deaf now, but he's fine. So I beat him, and I was like, and I made him give me the money in front of people. I tried to humiliate him, and then just being a friend. Mm-hmm. So my goal coming up to this one was like, I just want to beat my Thanksgiving
32.
Day time.
Yeah,
and I mean, look, this was like, we had a lot of time to do it. It was, race day and everything.
He took this very serious.
Well, I trained.
You worked with Zach Bitter.
Zach was telling me, I don't remember if I got to tell you this, that I was really fascinated that to really get your heart rate or your cardio better, what everyone tells you, Zach, and like if you read the running articles, it's all about like zone 2 training.
Yeah.
But when your cardio isn't great,
you're in like zone 8.
Bro, and the thing is, so what would happen is I go, well, I can run, let's say, I feel like I could run a casual in my mind, right? Like 10, 11 minute mile. But what I don't realize is when I'm doing that, my heart rate is in zone 5. And like, so then I go, well, how do I run zone 2? Well, I realize I got to be running like a 13 minute slow. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that's what you got to do. And you got to do it over time. Mm-hmm. And then over time, your zone 2 will take place at a lower speed or a faster speed, right? So a lower pace. And as I'm doing that, I'm like, oh, this sucks. Cause it's really shitty feeling to be like, I'm running this slow ass mile. So anyways, I'm doing some outdoor running, but we're traveling all the time. And sometimes we're not in ideal weather places or whatever. So I'm doing treadmill too, which is
different.
It's different. You figure out later that like, for me, I go like, oh, this is easier. Like once you go like this is easier.
You don't have to propel yourself.
Right.
You just go up and then it goes like this.
It works a different set of muscles actually. Yeah. I found that out the hard way.
Yeah.
That I only ran treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
I only ran treadmill. And then I'd go out to do a race and I'd be like, oh fuck. All I've been doing really is catching myself.
Lifting your foot up.
Catching myself. So it's all the front muscles. All my back muscles, the ones that would propel me, were underdeveloped.
I found myself, so race starts, and first of all, having, 10:45 start, I'm like, man, it's fucking hot. Sun was out. Also, anxiety's building because you have like all this time going by. You're like, come on, let's go.
I put up that clip and people are noticing like you were so serious, like in the back, because Travis Barker was there, me and Truth, and you were right there too. And like he's checking his watch, getting ahead. Like,
well, somebody came up, some press person came up to me and they're like, I go, get the fuck out of here. I go, so
I'm in a zone.
Yeah, I was trying to focus. But I also found, man, like a couple minutes into the race, I was like, man, this is way harder.
That uphill.
Really?
The uphill was like, that was a struggle for me, man.
It was, started off uphill slightly and then that little jog we had to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that part, I was like, we come back down, but I was like, I wasn't even looking, but I just knew, I was like, man, my heart rate is fucking up.
You never looked at it?
I didn't look at it.
True, it's got to 194. I don't know what your guys' get to, but because he was pushing hard, but 194, it's like, that's red line.
Yeah, that's redlining for sure. No,
I love getting my heart rate up there. It makes me know I'm not going to die. We do a thing. I stole it.
Cardiologists might disagree.
Lance Armstrong. It's an acid bath where you get on the
assault
bike for a minute, as many calories as you can do, and when you're done, you're going.
That's how I felt at the finish line, by the way. So
that's how I did too. People were like, Cam, and they wanted a picture. I'm just like, give me I always thought I was going to freaking pass out.
There was a lady on the approach to the finish line who came up to me with a mic, and I was like, like I just made a gasp. I was like, you crazy?
My dad's a legit. His whole life was a legit runner, like you. Really, honestly, marathons. If I call my dad on the phone right now, he can still give you exact times, it splits. Like he remembers all of it. He told me yesterday. He goes, my fastest 5K was like 16 minutes, 17 minutes.
It's good.
And so
that's fantastic.
That's running.
Yeah. Oh, my dad was run marathons in, low 3 hour, and so he would run 6-minute miles for running a marathon.
It's pretty good. So that's under 3.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad was like legit It's all he did.
Mhm.
I don't know what he was running from.
Yeah.
Everyone's running from something.
His kids.
He's
like so much regret.
Cam, I used to have to go out to those fucking marathons and be his pace guy with my uncle.
Yeah.
So like we'd go out, we'd have water for him and everything and have snacks for him and we'd meet him at places. So I spent my whole childhood going to fucking marathons.
Yeah.
And so never ran one. We'd all run turkey trots when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad was laughing so hysterically at Tom. Because he's like, I go, yeah, his trainer is going to pace him. And he was like, it's a 5K. And he was like, what's he pacing? I was trying to break 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah.
And Tom, my dad goes, hold on. He can't run a 10-minute mile by himself. And I said, well, he doesn't run. Like if you run, when you run, there's something also that happens is that those first miles are hard, but the last ones are like, let's get it fucking over.
Yeah.
And that's where you push yourself.
It's like with horses, it says they're barn sour. So they go away from the barn slow. You turn around, the horse knows, oh, we're going back to the barn. It's like double time.
Yeah.
So you get a little barn soured in a race where when you're heading home, it's on.
Summer requires extraordinary hydration that's built for everyday dehydrating moments. Liquid IV hydrates you with the benefits of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients. With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients in a single stick, it's clear why Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Hydration is so important to me, especially when I'm partying. I like to tear, pour, and I drink one every morning. I drink one before I go to bed. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Liquid IV's HydraScience formula has an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients to turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. There are no GMOs, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code CAVE at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code CAVE at liquidiv.com.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, and you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. Listen, nothing feels as good as getting as hard as you were probably freshman year in college. And that's what this does. I pop them. I'm ready to go. I knock on people's doors with it. It's that rock solid. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code BEARS at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code BEARS to receive your first month free. BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Our last mile, or like the part of the final mile, we were running 9 minute, like around sub 9.
You were cruising. You were cruising at the end.
And so anyway, I ended up doing 2 minutes less. I did it in 30.
30?
30 yesterday.
Really good.
Oh, you were trying to get under 30 though.
I was trying to get under 30.
Yeah, but you still improved though.
I improved. I cut 2 minutes off.
That's that I was talking to Huberman about this a couple of days ago, and I was saying it's crazy how when you start off running a 5K, you finish a 5K and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I wonder if I could do a 10K. Then you do a 10K. Yeah. And then you do a half marathon. Then you do a marathon. Then you do a 50K, then a 100K, then a 100 mile. And it's like, it's the same. You're the same person.
Yeah.
How the fuck was 5K your max?
Yeah.
And now, because everybody starts at a 5K.
Mm-hmm.
And then now some people are running 100 to 200 miles. Same Same body.
It's up here though, right? I mean, obviously your body has to make
your heart has to be, you have to be more efficient. That's the thing. Because when you're not efficient, that's when your heart rate skyrockets.
Talk about efficiency in running. This is fascinating. And I know this from my dad.
Yeah.
Efficiency in running. A lot of people, same with swimming.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to swim. But if you know how to run, when you watch Cam run, it's really pretty because your arms aren't you're like almost like dancing a little bit. Like you have great arm. My dad's seen videos of you run. And he goes, God, I love his fucking stride. God, I love his fucking stride. But you really glide when you run.
Yeah, it's you watch like those pro runners and their head isn't even moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like so efficient. And that's why some even elite marathon runners can have, you'd think they'd be shredded.
Mm-hmm.
They're so efficient, they still have a little fat on their belly.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they don't have a six pack. But because if you're running on a flat road and you're that efficient,
what does it translate? What does efficiency mean?
It's less work.
So they're not
working as hard, right? If somebody who's struggling like this, they're working their ass off.
Yeah. You were struggling yesterday. You're not struggling, but your body was moving in ways.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So when it's like when you're tense so they say it goes all the way down to wearing sunglasses because if you squint, that's taking energy from your body.
Sure.
So that's just a measure of how efficiency plays into being the best runner.
Because I've heard this. Like all this talk about efficiency with sprinters, right? Like when you get into elite sprinting, the coaches are down to like micro movements to not waste the energy, like you said, on a facial muscle, and they train for these 100-meter guys that just blaze down there.
It's 100th of a second difference. So it's like those little things they add up.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially like when you talk Zach Bitter, the guys who do the ultras, like the girls we talked about, efficiency is so key. Because to be able to sustain that pace, not falter, even when you're burning calories and hydration and everything the whole time, it's difficult. But the people who are the best are the most efficient.
When did you think? Did you always have a goal for ultra stuff, or were you like? I feel like most people with running go like a marathon is a goal. Mm-hmm. Did you do one and then go? I think I could do a further run.
Yeah, it's just like how I explained. You start at one thing and then you just want to test yourself more. So once you do it, I mean, I even heard Jelly yesterday say he wants to do a half marathon.
Yeah, dude.
He's
the one that was really yapping about it too.
Yeah. So that was with me too. It's just like you did it, then you're like, God, wonder what I'm capable of. And so then it's just that still chasing that, what's my limit?
Yeah.
That's what we all kind of want to find is what's our actual limit? I haven't found it yet. But it's like, that's kind of the game.
And it's not really, in my opinion, it's not physical. It's a mental thing.
Well, that's what I mean, the thing that, when we watch like a Goggins and the thing that I always think about, I'm like, this guy's just so mentally tough. Like that, your mental toughness and it's really fun to be around. Cause I feel like, when you do comedy, one of the most fun things is to hang around with comedians. And what happens is like when you hang around for a while, everybody's joking, you're laughing, and you leave there kind of feeling better about comedy and yourself in comedy. And I think when you hang around like really mentally tough people, you take a little of that with you. You know what I mean? You kind of go like, oh, this person it's good for you. It's good for you to be around it.
It's the old adage about, the 5 people you hang around. So if those people are elite runners, or if they're a comedian, you're gonna pick shit up.
You are, yeah.
You're around it. Your conversations are different. Things you think about, talk about, how you carry on in a daily life. It's different, and then it all leads to whatever that goal is.
Yeah. It's also there's a thing, and I can't speak for you, but I know that like when you have his fitness level, and he looks at 12 miles the way we look at like 2. We get on the say we're going to go do a 5K in the hotel, and you're like, I'm going to walk the first mile, get some emails. When he starts running, your first 3 miles have to be like a little loosening up and being like, okay, now we're in there. And then once your brain clicks over and you get that runner's high, and you are like, your breathing's right. I watch, because I know you'd run a half marathon a marathon every day at lunch, right?
Yeah, There's times when I do that. Yeah.
It's like inconceivable to most people.
Yeah, it's just like, but when you spend time around Goggins, around Courtney, it doesn't seem inconceivable. You know, like in my previous life, essentially, before I'd done that, yeah, I'd be like, what? That's not even possible. Nobody could do that. But then you start, I like telling the story about Courtney because Kat, who was here yesterday with us, she ran great, but her and Courtney were roommates one time at this running camp in Europe. And I'm not going to get the details all right, but they were running as part of the running camp because sometimes like Solomon or Katz Brooks running, or they have these running camps for their sponsored athletes. So they were on the same team in Europe and they were running 50K a day. So 31 miles a day. And, you know, all pro runners. So they're putting in the miles, right? Yeah. Well, Kat said, she's like, me and Courtney were roommates. And she goes, we would do the run, come back for meetings, dinner, everybody then go to bed. Courtney would go out running.
Go out running at night?
At night. So the 31 miles wasn't enough. That's why she is who she is. It's just grind. So, and I asked her like, and she'll never talk about her training really. I don't even know how many, miles a week she runs. She underplays everything. Just her demeanor is so like chill. And I said, so I heard a rumor that you would go running at night and, after you guys did the 50K, she's like, oh yeah, but it not much, And I'm like, well, how many miles? And he's like, 5 to 7 miles, she said. So it's like, that's significant after you've already done 31.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when you hear stuff like that, then you think about what you're doing differently. Mm-hmm. And that's just what happens.
How was adapting for you from going from like 5K, 12K, or 10K, half marathon? Like, was the adapting process of getting yourself there a pretty gradual, slow thing? Or, did you have to, hit new gears mentally to do that?
Yeah, it's your body adapts, just like we talked about. It's your body does change. And Joe even talks about stuff like this. He'll talk about like the Mongolian archers, their bones, because they were pulling such heavy bows back, their bones would get thicker. Their body would change. So your body does change. I said it's the same body that had a hard time doing a 5K and is doing 100 miles, but it does change over this time. That's an incredible thing about a human body is we can adapt. And I always say your body gets used to what you ask of it. If you don't ask much, it's not going to give you much.
Yeah.
If you ask a lot, it's going to give you a lot. So that's all it is. It's like, it does change. It takes time. Like there's always, when you start like doing that and testing your body differently, you can get injured. There can be things going on, but you really dial in your diet. You really dial in all these little things that allow your body to flourish and get stronger.
Did your body composition itself change a lot from your early days to?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, it's.
He looked Puerto Rican when we first saw him. Okay. You ever seen early pictures of Cam Haines?
No.
He looks Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I actually don't.
Pull up or young. You ran with who are you running next to? Lance Armstrong.
Pull up Puerto Rican Cam Haines.
Yeah.
But like Cam's like a totally different human being now.
Yeah. It's
you were skinny.
Yeah, there was a time. So when I ran with Lance in Boston, that was 2008.
No, I don't really mean
Puerto Rican Cam Haines.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I ran with Lance in 2008 in the Boston Marathon. So that's 16 years ago. And I went like there's a picture of it right there. Down to the right. Down, over to the right. One more. That's Lance.
Right? Does he not look like Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Puerto Rican Cam Haines.
Yeah. So that was 2008. I weighed like 150 pounds.
And now?
170, little over 170.
Okay.
So I was thinking, well, to be my best runner, I got to be light.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was like, all I was doing was run 20 miles a day. That was before I'd even done, let me think, I'd even done a 100-miler at that time. But I thought I needed to be light. So I got down to 150 and I couldn't, because I still hunt. And if I kill a bull elk, I got to pack, hundreds of pounds. I was more frail. So I'm like, oh shit, this isn't going to work. So then I went and started running less, got up to 190, but muscle. And then I couldn't run. I wasn't efficient on that. So now where I'm at now is like the best of both worlds.
And prior to you running these ultra kind of distances, where you're even like before your marathon days, like when you were a half marathon runner, were you still at the like 150-ish range?
No, I was probably a little heavier. I just wasn't in that good a shape at that time.
Okay.
I'd run Like I would run a half marathon slower than we ran the first half of Boston.
Really?
So I got better over the years.
Yeah.
You figure out what it takes.
What's also weird is, I think the race you sign up for is the race you do in your head. Meaning, if you sign up for a marathon, you're going to do a half marathon extremely easy.
Yeah.
But if you sign up for a half marathon, you'll do the 5K very easy. And and all of a sudden, half marathon becomes very long at 6 miles, but a marathon becomes very long at 13 miles, but 22 miles, marathons are fucking.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say on our show anymore, but like that was the point where people your body starts giving out. Like people's legs start seizing up and people shit themselves. And you said something.
You see that guy the other day, Davis Clark? He shit himself. It went viral.
On a run?
Yeah. And I had commented on his post. I said, nobody cares shit harder. And he ran, it was Boston. And he got at the end, he videoed himself with shit running down his legs.
Holy cow.
Did you see the chick pull over to the side, pull her pants over to the side and shit in the street?
Oh yeah, I did.
I saw that.
Really?
Dude, shitting? You were talking about having to go to the bathroom when you start. So this is like race talk. I love this shit. Because when you run a marathon, maybe 100 yards out, they have a ton of porta potties. Because what happens is everyone has to shit the second they start the marathon.
Yeah.
Everyone has to piss the second they start. Everything. And that happened to you yesterday.
Well, like also, I'm a all-day water coffee guy. Like those are pretty much what's in me.
So you always have to piss.
I always got to pee.
Yeah.
And I always think, and then like, at shows, like I get to the show, you're hanging out in the green room like this. I mean, I might go pee 8 times before the show.
Yeah.
Right. And there's always like that last one right before you go. I just like, it's just a constant thing. So I didn't, the day before I hydrated well. And then morning of, I'm not like overdoing it. I had a little coffee, drinking some water, and we have like hours to kill. So whatever, I hit the head a few times, and then it's like, all right, let's walk over. And I went one more time where we're standing around, and I just get I go, fuck, I gotta pee. And they're like, and here we go, 3. And I was like, God damn it. So we start the run.
There's nothing worse than having to piss when you're running.
Right when you start, too.
I
was like, this is exactly when I want to pee. So we get in the run, and then I'm just distracted. I don't think about peeing because I'm distracted by like how hard I'm working to run. Yeah. And when we get done, I was actually going to go in, and they're like, oh, Jelly and Bert are coming up in a few minutes. Okay. You guys come through, we celebrate. And it's like, let's head in now. Well, then we're like, let's walk into the stadium. And I remember we were walking in, and it was still kind of like the party of like, oh, we're here now. Now let's like get this thing started. And I kind of don't think about it. And then I get in the cold tub. And I was like, man, I got to piss. I'm not going to piss in this tub.
It's hard to piss in a cold tub.
Yeah, I was like, I do have to pee.
Yeah.
Then I get out, and I'm like talking to this person, pictures. I forget.
Yeah.
And then we go through the entire experience.
Yeah.
And as we're walking back, I turn to Zolo, and I go, I had to piss since the race. And he goes, that was 4 hours ago.
Jeez.
And I was like, I don't know what happened. Like my body just like shut off the notification that like I got to pee. And then it was one of the most enjoyable pisses of my life.
I bet.
Yeah.
This episode of Two Bears, One Cave is brought to you by DraftKings. We are this close to crowning an NBA champ. And with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. There's only so many games left, and DraftKings Sportsbook has got you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out, or you'll have to wait until the next NBA season to place your bets. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your squad, and place your bet, and it's that simple. New to DraftKings? Listen up. This is awesome. New customers get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500. Just deposit at least $5, and you'll get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit. I'm telling you right now, I have been so into the damn playoffs because of this. It's fun. I don't even bet that much money. I just have fun betting on the games, and then I enjoy watching the games. Buddy, it makes beers so much better. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BEARS. That's code BEARS for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small, and when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. I know that I started writing them down, but I found that when I wasn't writing them down, they were just building up, and they were building up on my shoulders, and then all of a sudden, I would say things like, I have so many plates spinning right now. All anyone does is put stuff on plates for me. And I would blow up. And I started talking about them in therapy. I talked with them with Leanne. Leanne would identify them with me. I talked about them in therapy. And you get them off your plate. You get them off your plate. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get it off your chest or your plate, whatever you call it, with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/bears today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bears. I love this. I love introducing, and I am by no stretch of the means like a real race guy, but like I do love them. Mm-hmm. And I love that we introduced it to a group of people that normally wouldn't do it, and now they're kind of into it.
Yeah.
It's so, I had said this to you. Your accessibility, meaning like what you perform at, is, I think a lot of people go, I'll never get there. I think a lot of people look at me and Tom and go, well, those fat fucks can do it.
Yeah.
And so the people that were there yesterday were like, I mean,
yeah,
they could have fucking sold a dickload of blood pressure medicine at that place.
And running shoes.
God.
Yeah, and seeing Jelly out there, that gives so many people hope. You know what I mean? He got out there, he did it, and it's just like, that's like, he's going to impact more people than I could, than you could, because there's a lot of people who think, that's so unrealistic for me, because you guys are active and everybody kind of knows that now. So it's not a shock to see you do a 5K, to see Jelly, who they're figuring probably hasn't run much, to see him do it and then smiling and like all the positive affirmation.
He was so positive.
And it's like, that's going to change. Who knows how many lives?
You know, he's obviously very well known, and he was saying that, you know, he dropped 70 pounds, and then, but I was running into people all day. I lost 25 pounds. Right. I lost 50 pounds. Some guy came up to us. He's like, I lost 250 pounds.
I was dying to know what he looked like before.
I'm sure it wasn't great, but there was,
and he did it.
Oh, by the way, there was no better feeling than when I was like meeting people, and I was like, how'd you do? And if they were younger than me and like leaner than me, and their time was slower than mine, I would smile so big. I would go, that's good. Congratulations, man.
Good for you.
Yeah. And then I met one guy who was in a fucking, like a mascot suit.
Yeah, the bear?
Yeah, and he was like kind of out of shape.
He did it twice.
He goes, I did it twice. And I go, well, what was your time? He goes, 26. I go, how the fuck did you do that? He goes, I'm 23. I was like, oh, okay.
That helps.
Yeah.
That helps. Because that suit looked hot as hell, too.
I was like, you ran it in this?
Those people make me so angry.
I know.
When they run it. There was a guy that beat me in the LA Marathon who was in a Big Bird suit. There was a guy with a tuba. He played the tuba the whole fucking race. There was a guy, there was a kid with MS that beat me, and his dad, his Mexican family, his dad ran with him in jeans and just work boots, and ran with him, and they lapped me twice. Like I'd try to take their souls.
Yeah, no.
And then they'd fucking smoke my soul.
There was some impressive running. I mean, besides you guys, there were some other people there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this dude's fucking flying. Yeah. Your asshole son ran it with jeans on.
He did.
Which I saw you guys the day before, and I mentioned I'd seen that before, so I said it as a joke.
Yeah.
I go, what are you going to run in tomorrow? He's like, I hope 18. And I was like, well, it doesn't count if you're not in jeans. And he was like, okay. And then he shows up in jeans. I touched them. I was like, are these real jeans?
Yeah.
And he was like,
I think he was like kind of waffling on shorts or jeans, but once you said that, we saw him at the, whatever that.
Yeah, the Oaks.
The Oaks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then he's like, no, I told Tom I was going to wear jeans.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're this is a joke, right? And he was like, no.
And he ran good. I mean, he ran like, I think 1806 was it? Or 1812.
That's fucking
pretty
quick.
fast.
When I was doing
1812, looking like a Green Beret that just lost his gear. And you're like, I mean, like your son,
he's jacked.
Bro, he looks like an underwear model. And then,
he ran it like he was at the bar and some chick gave him a booty call.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, can you come over here in 10 minutes? And he was like, guys, I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're only 3 miles. Be there in 18
that was
minutes.
unreal, dude. That's so impressive.
My only regret is not touching his hands. I didn't focus on his hands.
What?
His hands are fucking shredded.
From
fucking goddamn pull. He does them in oven mitts.
So
I think.
he's the pull-up king, right? Like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did 8,100 in 24 hours.
Do you worry? Because I worry that my lifestyle
that we will beat that record. So, what were you going to say?
My lifestyle's permeated my daughters in many ways and in my mentality. And I don't want them to have the work thing I have where I'm like obsessed with work, but like your kids get the shit you give them. Mm-hmm. Do you ever think about like, shit, I can't escape this killer mentality. I have it. My dad gave it to me. I got it. And then I gave it to my kids. You ever like go, man, I know you probably don't go, I wish I had kids that played video games, but do you ever go, I wish I didn't give them all that hunger?
Yeah, to be honest, it's hard. So the path he's going down, the world record pull-ups, is like, you can't just show up and kind of get through you got to make big stuff, hard stuff. And that's exhausting. So I said, I'm 56 now. He's 27. And I'm like, you got 30 more years of hard shit. That's a lot. And I worried with my other son who went and was the ranger, because I thought I had fucked up like raising kids. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I'm like, I'd always tell him, I'm like, if you're average, you're a failure.
I love that. I love that.
I know, but then, so if your kid has a good job, an important job that the community needs, but they're not like this elite, whatever, they feel like a failure. Right. And so I had to say, is like, there's nothing wrong with having a regular job. There's nothing wrong. After they had been through all the shit that I'd said, like, look around, see all these people at the movie theater, right? And I'd be like, all these people, we don't want to look like those people. Those people are average. And then I was just like,
Bert? You see Tom? All right.
Yeah.
See these guys? You want to look like this.
So I was like, God, what the fuck? What was I thinking? Because not everybody has to be this freak.
No, but what you know that is coming from what you did. I think, I'm a father of 2 younger boys. Mm-hmm. Is I think you're putting your boys on a good path. I think it's probably tough to be Cam Hanes' son, because your dad's like an ultra achiever, mm-hmm. like regardless of the field. So anytime your dad's an achiever, but you put a mentality into your kid. No mentality comes without like a
price.
Yeah. It all comes at a price. Mm-hmm. But like, look at your boys now. Like, they
don't hate me. So
they don't hate you. Yeah. And they
did for a while, but
they are achieving incredible things.
Yeah.
They're good kids.
The way I looked at it is because I didn't have any advantage. So I realized really quickly life is fucking competition and I'm losing. So like when I first started bow hunting, it was like, well, if I'm like in the best shape and I get to the mountains, all these guys who have more connections and know more people, have more money and better jobs, but in the mountains, I'm better than them. I call the shots out here. So that's what like gave me that edge. It's like, I can't in the regular world, I'm fucking nobody. But out here, now I can call the shots. So that's where I learned really quickly that life will kick you in the dick if you're not ready to compete. So I'm like, I got to get my boys ready. Life is competition. And if you want to win, which we all want to win in our own little thing, you got to be built for it. We're built different, remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but seriously, it's like, so I maybe was too serious about it because I was young and it's like, didn't understand the balance of it. I didn't really, school was like, yeah, get good grades, but it was always physical.
Were they physically doing a lot of stuff early?
Always, yeah.
Running?
They both did half marathons when they were 7. And under 2 hours.
Isla couldn't spell half marathon at 7. She can't do it at 17.
At 7?
7, yeah. And Truett ran, who you guys met yesterday, he ran here's another me being psycho, but the Eugene Marathon, you have to be 16 to run it. So I lied on his thing. He was 13. And my dad was getting ready to die from cancer. So this is 2010. And we said, well, if Truett could do this marathon, give my dad his marathon medal, right? And so Truett was 13. I said he was 16. And he ran it in 3:30, which is a pretty damn good marathon.
It's a really good marathon.
So that was who ran yesterday. So they've been pushed for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think that I used to want Kevin Hart to talk about luck more than hard work, because luck's so important in life.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's another thing that I think maybe I have too. Maybe my dad put it in me. When I was in first grade, my dad, I said, I'm the fastest kid in the class. He said, you'll never beat me at anything. And I said, I'm pretty fast. And he goes, well, let's go outside. Let's do a sprint. So he wins. And I was in first grade. I was 6 years old, and 6 or 7. And I fucking was cooking down the street. And as I look up, my dad is running backwards. And he goes, I told you you'll never beat me at anything. But you need that. I think you need that. Like weird parenting things to give you a brain that says, listen, I'm not the most talented comic, but I'm very high achieving because I don't believe I belong anywhere. I don't believe I have value. I feel like if I don't create it, I won't be invited. If I don't show up, if I don't work harder than everyone else, then I won't, then no one will notice me. And I think that that's like a really important thing to instill into a child, is like identify the fact that you're feeling this and then use that as your advantage.
Yeah. You got to have something. Why are you going to stand out? That's the thing. People, they want to stand out. Sometimes like how you've done it, it's hard. So they can stand out for being a fuck up. Still get attention, but just negative attention. To stand out for putting in work, doing positive, making a positive difference, that's fucking hard. Yeah. And I've known that my whole life, so that's what I tried to teach my boys.
Tell Tom a little bit about your childhood and your youth, because I've listened to your book. I told you, out of all the inspiration, all the self-help books you'll get, Cam's book is the most applicable to your life, because instead of saying, this is how I do it, your book is really, this is why I do it. Mm-hmm. I felt that way. And so tell Tom a little bit about, like, just give him, like, for everyone listening goes, oh, I know Cam. I know he's been on Rogan 30 times, but like, tell him a little bit about like where you grew up, how you grew up, and how you got into everything.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest part of my childhood was, here's the biggest thing. And, you know, we can offer our kids something different than this, but my mom and dad got divorced when I was young. My dad, of course, I thought was Superman, like most kids do, but he's an incredible athlete. And I just always wanted him around, and he was never there. So I was always like, wanted this thing, this approval from dad type thing. So my mom got remarried. Stepdad hated him. He wasn't my dad. So it's never going to work. You're not my dad. And it's like, that has to be the worst thing ever for a step parent to have some fucking kid like me say, you're not my dad. I don't have to do what you say. That's pretty much how my whole life was. So it was this big butting of heads battle all the time. I'd want to go live with my dad because he lived in Portland, but then I'd miss my brother because I had a brother. We have the same mom and dad. Then I have my other brother ran yesterday too, a half brother. That's my mom and the stepdad's kid. And then I have a half sister on that side. And then anyway, got a bunch of mixed up kids, but I have a full brother. And so I'd move with my dad, then miss my brother because I was by myself in Portland. Anyway, it wasn't good. So that was kind of how it worked, is like my dad, everybody knew my dad down in Eugene because he was like this track phenom, and I'd hear stories about him. And so because as parents, we fuck up all the time. So kids see us fuck up. I never saw my dad fuck up. So I always just had him like he was up here forever. I never saw anything bad, you know? And it's like, so it always like, you know, knew he was a track guy. So I'm like, I want to run. I want to be like that, just to maybe he'll notice. And that was pretty much it. So
that's what connected with me, is that my dad was a track guy, and his weekends were all spent running. I mean, he'd be up at 6 a.m. He'd run 10 miles every night when he came home from work, just go out and run a quick 10 miles. And I think part of me, I got into track and field. I played baseball very heavily, and my dad was always involved. But my dad was always involved when you were doing a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could get my dad 100% if we went to a running store to look at shoes.
Yeah.
If we went to a sporting goods store, if I was playing baseball, if I said, "Hey, let's go play baseball. Hey, let's go for a run." Like my dad would always be like, "Oh, that was the way we connected."
Yeah.
It's why I go to sporting goods stores obsessively today to this day. Is it's a weird thing. It's like makes me comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I did track and field, and I remember when I got into track and field freshman year, I was running the 220 and the 200 and the 400 were my two races, and my dad got so into it. He introduced me to fartleks, and he would train me on the track.
Yeah.
And it was like this. It's this weird. I'm looking for that thing.
Yeah. Approval.
And it's defining who I will be. I don't know that.
Right.
I was like, God. And running in Eugene at that time that's the beginning of Nike. That's Prefontaine. That's the Mecca.
Yeah. It is. So did you hate running? Because you felt like you had to do it because your dad wanted you to do it? Because that's how my kids hated running. I make them run.
No, I loved it. My dad did some really fucking crazy things. My dad would compliment me in things that weren't real, and I would believe them.
Like what?
Number one, you love pressure. He said that to me when I was 6 years old. Buddy, this is where you excel.
Shine.
Other kids, they don't have what you have. When all the chips are on the table, you fucking show up. And I don't know if that's real or not. I really don't. But I'll tell you what, I fucking love pressure.
You started to believe it, though.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believed it. And
you manifested it.
You put me into a game in fucking two people on base. We're down by 2 runs, and I would fucking deliver because I would, all of a sudden that energy would skinny up. This is a stupid story, but don't do much athletically. Do secret time, 2 shows in Philly. I bomb on the first show. Really fucking ate a dick. I have 1 show to deliver, and I'm nervous. And Leanne says, "Well, you love pressure." And I went, "Oh, that's right, I do." And all of a sudden, I focus in and I dial in and I love pressure, but I don't know if it's real. My dad always told me, "You have a beautiful stride. I love your stride, buddy." God, it's like they compliment you on athletically things. As a kid throwing a football, God damn it, you have the tightest spiral. Like he was really good at and I don't even know if they were real.
Who won the football throwing yesterday?
Oh, the fucking black guy.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus
I just saw the
Christ.
pictures of it. So,
But without him coming on, because he wasn't one of the comics. Who of the comic?
yeah, because it would have been. I thought it was a comic competition.
But yeah. We just brought somebody else.
It wasn't Tony Hinchcliffe.
No, that's for sure.
It wasn't Ari.
No.
It was not Ari Garbage. Oh, it was Feidelberg.
Did Feidel throw the first?
Threw a fucking. Feidelberg's a sneaky athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Barstool guys show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I think a lot of what you do online is by proxy parenting. It's when you look at people to look up to.
I get messages from young men who say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Maybe there's something to it, but which is weird because most of the time I felt like I was fucking up as a parent. And now it's like these people who I don't know are saying that. So,
well, it's funny because honestly, I think from podcasting, we get messages like that. Like people who, and it's usually younger men who, or maybe don't have any, they just want some type of guidance. So what they do is, they follow shows like that, and then they find a voice that they like or something that they relate to. But I think, and then, nothing crazier than being a jackass comedian who someone's like, "I look up to your guidance." And you're like, okay.
Well,
but with you, I feel like that really makes a lot of sense to me because I consume your content or however you want to call it, sometimes inadvertently, you're scrolling and you say, "Oh, it's Cam post," and you just look and you're just like, I got to get off my ass today. It's a great little pill you didn't even mean to take.
Yeah.
And that motivation hits you.
Yeah, that's where the algorithm works, because sometimes we see shit that does the opposite effect to us too. Yeah. So it's like you can kind of cultivate who you follow and why you follow them. And it can have that, even though you're not intentional, you're like, oh, and it just makes you feel like I should go do something.
This motherfucker ran a marathon at lunch.
and you're not an influencer who just posts videos of you working out. You are someone, and that's all you do. You have a job. You're like a grown up.
Yeah.
Do you think I have regrets as a parent? Hard regrets. Tom will not, I don't think. Because I think, and I mean this, but like Schultz, I was talking to Schultz the other day. I was like, what are you doing Tuesday? He was like, oh, I'm flying home. He said it to me. He's like, I gotta be with my kid. And I didn't have that luxury. Mm-hmm. I was a poor parent. Not poor, but like I wasn't making money.
You had to hustle.
Yeah. And so I had a panic where I was like, yeah, parenting's great. I'd love to sit and read a book with you, but I need to make sure you have money to go to college. Mm-hmm. Do you think some of that comes into the fact that you were just a regular dad and you were like, yo, I've got to make money for these kids. And I've also have aspirations. I want to be bigger. And you look back and you go, I guess I could have done that differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just think I had kids. I don't know how old your guys had kids, but I was, like 25.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
And I was kind of a fuck up, still drinking, just being an idiot. But kind of when I had Tanner, my oldest, it's I'm like, I don't want to be a loser dad. I've seen loser dads out there, and it's just like So I still kind of drank more than I should have, but then finally ended up stopping because I was just like, I gotta be the example for these boys. This is, when you come up like I did, it's like the only thing that's going to set you apart is hard work, because it's not gonna be money and it's not gonna be anything else. So it's like, I just got pretty serious about that, and probably too serious on how hard I pushed them. But I know it paid off because like Tanner was good at basketball, my oldest, and he was, everybody, wants to be the highest achiever they can. And I go, listen, if you do what all these other kids do, just go to practice, do whatever. I said, you're not going to stand out. I said, we got to do extra work. So he started lifting when he was 14, and then we'd stay and shoot threes after practice every day for hours. And he ended up getting all state, first team, all league. And it's just like, that was like a really big lesson, because I said, you do what they do, you're going to be just like them. So then the boys really learned early that I got to do more than everybody.
If I'm going to stand out, if I'm going to be great.
If you're going to stand out, if that's your goal, to stand out. Some people, I don't know, have different goals, and that's fine.
Sure.
My daughter's more of an academic, so, I didn't fuck her up on the physical stuff. But
also, by the way, with the drinking thing, if you also had kept drinking, I don't think physically you could push yourself to the limits that you do, right? Like,
yeah, I always just thought with drinking, it's like what I care about is being strong, having endurance, being able to run and bow hunt. Drinking doesn't help any of those.
Yeah,
it hinders all of them.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
your recovery would have been.
I'm like, I'm saying I want to be the best at all these things, but then I'm sabotaging myself. So it was just an easy choice for that. It's just.
We were talking to Gronk about that the other day.
Oh yeah, how he would party hard like in his early 20s, and then he's like, by the time it was like late 20s, 29, 30, he was like
the recovery.
Well, he was talking about like how you could pick it up. As an athlete, like you're so in tune with little, almost like micro movements. Mm-hmm. He's like, it would be a DB that I have a step on him, and now I'm a step behind him, and I know it's because I drank. Mm-hmm. Like I know that it's messing me up in that regard.
Right.
So he's like, just can't do it because it's just like 2 steps, but you're dialed into it.
Even it could be less than that. I mean, could you imagine how if they can get their fingertip on the ball, and knock it up and then catch it, but maybe their reaction is that much slower because of the alcohol or whatever they did, and they just didn't get that fingertip on it. So a fingertip, because you've seen remember that catch Edelman had, where it gets Atlanta, where he's bobbling it around. What if he would have went out drinking the night before?
Yeah, no.
He wouldn't have kept that ball off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They would have lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's like the difference between success and failure can be that small. So who can really afford to give that up when you're at the highest level? You can't.
You can't.
When was the last time you got drunk?
Man, I don't know. It's been a while.
For real, not even like recently. You guys were all in fucking Maui hunting pigs, and fucking Joe and everyone's around. And they're like, let's have a cold beer, and you're just like, I'll have a water.
A Diet Coke usually. Yeah,
that's what's up. Sometimes you ever feel like you're like a real bad boy. You have a regular Coke.
If I'm getting crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sugar.
Yeah. Well, like I stayed away from Diet Coke for so long.
Yeah.
That probably like in the last year, a couple of times, I've been like, hey, let me get a regular Coke. And I have a sip and I'm like, ooh.
I know, yeah.
Like I'm like, this is fucking wild.
You lunatic.
You're a nasty boy.
Yeah. It hits so different. You're like, I can't have too much of this. This is crazy.
What's your favorite part of bow hunting?
I like the challenge. I like being in the mountains. I like being in tune. You know, it's like, what I like about it is in normal life, we're a lot of distractions, a lot of shit going on. In the mountains, it's so pure. And it's just like you versus animal. You're impacted by the mountains themselves, the weather. And it's just as pure as it gets as far as living.
Yeah.
No distractions. And that's what that can be hard for people.
You've hunted countless times, right?
Yeah. In my 40 years.
So in all those times, because everybody always wonders this, have you had threat encounters where you're like, oh shit? Like everybody always thinks about
that would be the reason I wouldn't bow hunt.
And the big, I mean, in grizzly country,
yeah,
that's a real threat.
Sure.
The big bears.
Have you had that encounter?
Yeah, definitely.
And what has happened?
Well, I mean, I've had a couple charges. One time I killed this brown bear, my buddy Roy, who got me into bow hunting, who died in 2015. He fell hunting. He was sheep hunting and fell and died.
Oh my God. Off of like a cliff, mountain?
Yep. And sheep are in really rugged country.
Oh, right. And like on sides of,
But that's what we loved. The bigger the adventure, the crazier the adventure, that's what we loved. We lived for that. So earlier that year, that was 2015, he fell on October 4th, I believe is when he fell. We had done a moose hunt 2 weeks prior, and I killed a good moose, and it's a really good video. But the hunt right before that, I had done brown bear, which are grizzly that eat on fish. So if they're on the ocean, they're called brown bear. If they're inland, they're called grizzly. Same species.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
But the brown bear get bigger because
and more aggressive, right? Or no?
I think grizzlies are more aggressive because they have to work harder for their kills.
Okay.
A brown bear can eat salmon in the water, so they're not working that hard, but so they get bigger because they have all that protein, so they can get up to 1,000 pounds. Where a grizzly would be like 600 pounds, but they're fast. So I snuck up on this brown bear in the tidal flats in this grass, sat up, and I shot. The arrow went frontal right here, and bear took off, went down. This female grizzly or brown bear with full-grown cubs. The cubs will hang out with their mom. They don't need the mom, but they still kind of hang out for another year or so with her. So she heard the arrow hit the bear, and she got kind of alarmed because she was about 100 yards away, stood up in the grass and was like looking around like this, came running towards me, picked up where I had hit that brown bear, and there's blood on the ground where the arrow had caused a hemorrhage. And she started tracking that other bear, smelling blood, just like, just going crazy. And my buddy Roy, I went back to him, and he had a rifle. And this female goes out to the bear I killed as a boar, a male, and she starts tearing it up, like attacking it, and it's dead. And I was like, I tell Roy, I go, she's tearing up my bear. And I said, shoot out there. And so we didn't want to kill another bear, but wanted to spook her off from, she's tearing up the hide, doing all this crazy shit, just grass and everything was going crazy. So he shoots, boom. And she didn't even, nothing. And I said, shoot again. Shoots again. And she looks up like this, and she looks, and then she sees us because we're in grass. So it's like the grass is only about up to here. We're standing up. She sees us full bore, sprinting. So the bear made it 130 yards dead. So she had 130 yards to cover. And she's like, and Roy said, she's coming full speed. Roy said, if she crosses a creek, I'm going to have to shoot her. And I said, yeah. And so she bombs right across that creek. No, didn't even slow down. Gets right up to us, 20 yards away, stops, stands up. And we're like, hey, get out of here, get out of here. She's like staring, like standing up on her back legs, like looking like this. And Roy's like, you know, I have my bow and I have an arrow nocked. It's not going to really do shit. But I talked about this in the book, if you remember. But anyway, the bear drops down and charges, and Roy shoots and hits her, like, was aiming just frontal, but hit her in between the head and the shoulder and just folded her dead. And we had it on video, and what you hear on the video is I just go, fuck. And he's like, dude, I had to. And I said, I know. I said, I didn't want to fucking kill another bear because I just killed a bear.
Yeah.
And it was a good, clean kill, big male. And now we had this, the cubs they were over a year old, so they were going to be fine. But we had another dead brown bear. And so we called Fish and Game, filled out the thing. It's called Defense of Life and Property. So it's legal to do that whatever. So that was one. And then just the last grizzly hunt I did, I was up in hunting inland, and I hit this bear, and it perfect, you know, should have been perfect. I hit a little far forward right here on a broadside bear, and it takes off, and we follow blood. And when you're hunting grizzly, you have to have a guide if you're a non-resident. If you don't live in Alaska, you're called a non-resident. So there was a guide there, and we go into the really thick alders, and I could tell, it's like, God, it wasn't a perfect shot because the bear would have been dead already. We had went like a couple hundred yards. Normally, a perfect shot, they'll go 50 yards. You take out their lungs, they're going to die. So it went a couple hundred yards and got in these really thick alders, and everybody was like, really, you know, it's pretty anxious time. It's pretty intense. A wounded grizzly in the alders, really thick. So we're following this blood getting down there, and the guide was off to my left, and I was right here, and he goes, dead bear. And I said, oh, good. You know, I said, oh, okay, I could see that the blonde hide from the grizzly. And he's like, wait, no, it moved its head. And I was like, don't shoot. Because like for a bow hunter, if a gun is involved, it's not a bow kill anymore. Yeah. So I'm a bow hunter. That's all I do. And so I said, don't shoot. And he goes, okay. And I said, let me finish her and finish it. And so I get down in there, and I'm trying to get a shot. It's like maybe from here to the wall there. And
fucking close as shit.
Yeah, but the alders were so thick. So I'm full draw, and I'm down on one knee, trying to get and bear's like sitting there looking like this, but was hurt. Couldn't really, it was, you know, fatally wounded, just hadn't died yet. And in about a split second starts coming right at me, but it's only, you know, 15 feet away basically. And so I shoot, I finally found a window to shoot through. I shot, hit the bear in the chest. The guide shot, hit the bear in the hip and kind of spun it, and it was dead. And on that one too, I was like, fuck. Cause it's like another, I hate having guns involved, but I couldn't blame him.
Cause it was that close, right?
They just had a hunter just got attacked, I think the year prior, on a wounded grizzly. Cause they're tough. Freaking grizzlies are tough.
So you weren't pissed that.
I was just pissed at the situation.
Yeah, sure.
He did what he had to do. I mean, I just said, and before we went down there, I said, I don't want guns involved. I just want to go down there and if it's a mess, I need to clean up. I did it. And my attitude is always, if I'm trying to kill this bear, if something happens and it kills me, that's just the way it goes. That's what I was trying to do. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's the deal, right? So I didn't want the guns involved. He's just doing his job though. So it's like, I can't be mad at that. I was just mad I made kind of a marginal shot that didn't kill the bear as quickly as I should have.
Can I ask you, I want to ask you this one other question about hunting, because you've hunted so much. What percent, like you always imagine when people go on hunts, whether it's for deer, turkey, boar, bear, whatever, moose, that not every hunt nets you what you're out for, right?
Yeah, generally no. I mean, like an elk hunt, success is 10%.
So that's what I was going to ask. Like, when
Shut up.
So does
So
it?
Sometimes you just go for a walk.
Well, it's a walk with purpose. But
Yeah.
what
Fuck.
percentage of hunts that you go on, I guess overall, net you what you were out for?
Me?
You.
I mean, I haven't not killed on a hunt. I mean, I just had a mountain lion hunt where I just didn't see a lion that I wanted to kill. So it was kind of like a whatever. But before that, it'd been since 2009 since I hadn't killed.
So you always
Mhm.
have killed something.
Mhm.
But species wise, or like, animal, does the variable change animal to animal?
Yeah. So elk is 10%. Deer is about 20%. There's more deer than elk. Elk are just lower numbers.
But you're just a better hunter then, because you're not haven't had
I work really hard.
Okay.
I work really hard. I'm not better than anybody. I probably just sacrifice more to put more odds in my favor, and just have done it a long time, so I have a lot of experience.
Where's the mountain lion hunt take place?
That was Colorado.
Is that a season 2 for them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That feels like a fucking terrifying hunt to be on.
Yeah, that one. You do use dogs for that. So
I could do that.
Just seeing a lion, they're so nocturnal and so whatever, so dialed in. You just walking around, you hardly ever see them. I mean,
Is it a night hunt?
No, it's during the day,
okay.
but they can track them and then they tree them. And so basically the dogs are doing the work. So the dogs are like, the dogs are incredible. They're your tool for that hunt. It's not a bow, not a rifle per se. It's the dog as the hunting tool. They're just really good. They're bred for it. They love it. They love the chase. So that's how I've never killed a mountain lion. I was doing it because in Colorado right now, they have a very liberal governor. They're going after hunting. They reintroduce wolves, which are going to knock down elk and deer populations, which I think the goal is so they can say, we don't need hunting anymore. We don't need hunting to control these numbers. So their governor he's got a husband. So that's
That took me a second to process.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
He's got a husband. So I was going there just to try to tell the story about mountain lions and why it's important to manage it. And it's like where I was
Wait, are you saying that his husband hunts?
His husband does not hunt.
Okay.
And he doesn't hunt.
Okay.
I
didn't know.
I'm not sure what they do. But I think the goal is to definitely stop mountain lion hunting.
Yeah.
And then stop all hunting.
Yeah, there's times that like LA gets mountain lion problems. Like
there's that famous picture with the Hollywood sign right there with that big lion. And I mean, I just ran up to the sign like 2 days ago, and it's like there's coyotes all over up there.
That's another one. That's one of the craziest things when I moved to LA, you're moving to I'd never lived in a major city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving to Los Angeles, second biggest city, one of the world's great, cities. And you're like, this is a city, right? And like a few things. One time I'm driving down Fountain, which is one of Hollywood's big streets.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, I don't know, like middle of the day. And I just see a coyote with a dog in its mouth just jogging down the street. And I'm like, this is on fucking Fountain?
Yeah.
And then when I moved into the valley, we would see coyotes up and down the street early morning, especially if you were up early. And you'd see them like hunting through or jumping through people's yards, just, sniffing around. And then you would see things like rabbit torn to pieces in a front yard. And another time in the valley, I saw a coyote with a dog in its mouth where I used to live in Woodland Hills.
Yeah, coyotes. They say coyotes kill 60% of deer fawns.
Wow.
So the baby deer that are born, coyotes are killing 60% of them.
Wow.
So they, if you think about a coyote, it's like people will say, well, you don't need to eat meat. You can have this whatever type of diet. A coyote, they got to kill. They're not. What else are they going to eat? Yeah. There's no dog food. They're not going to the store, so they're killing all the time. Always hunting, always killing, and it's like they're really good at it too.
Yeah, they're good at it.
Yeah, but
what was it like? What was it like? Because we both know Joe when he gets passionate about comedy, you can call him up
or pool.
You can just pool or fucking. But like you met
Aliens.
Joe when he decided he was going to start becoming a hunter. What was that early? Because he's the most curious fucking guy.
Also obsessive.
Just
obsessive on things.
What was that initial relationship like? And like, I can only imagine he was almost calling you every day, like going like, "Hey, I have another question."
Yeah.
Like, what was that initial relationship like?
It was pretty cool because at that time I was just, grinding in Oregon. Nobody really knew who I was but I was putting my YouTube videos up, and Joe, he loves YouTube. I mean, he is always looking at stuff, researching stuff. He's always on there. So he saw that shooting a bow, and I was carrying a rock up the mountain. That's one of the workouts that I do is I carry that fucking rock.
Yeah.
And so I had a video of it, and
that's the one that Daddy Huberman,
Huber Daddy
carried up.
Yeah,
went viral.
It. Yeah. That with the no shirt on, that one did go viral.
I remember that.
I jacked off to that.
So Joe in 2014 tweeted. He said, "Hey, Cameron Hayes, you ever want to come to LA and talk about bow hunting and training?" And so that was it. I took a bow down there.
You're like, bitch, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I want to talk about training and bow hunting.
Yeah, so I was like, shit. So I took him a bow and showed him just kind of the basics on shooting a bow. And I said, hey, we should go on a hunt. And he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to do a hunt. And I said, okay, well, there's a good hunt I do up in Alberta with the Rivets, is his family up there. They've become really good friends. But it's in Alberta, tons of bear up there. They have to kill bear to keep the moose and deer numbers healthy, right? Because bear just like coyotes, they'll kill a bunch of the fawns and the elk calves and the moose calves. So you can go up there and kill two black bears. So I told Joe, I said, this is a really good first bow hunt because I can be there right with you. The bear, there's so many of them. We bait them in, and because it's such thick brush, you couldn't hunt them otherwise.
Like a bowl of honey.
No, like we use oats.
Oh,
yeah, just like oats, and then to mix some grease in, and it's pretty good, So it actually makes the meat is really good too. But so I told Joe, I said, we can go up there, then I can be with you, and I can say whether it's a male or a female because we want to kill big old males. That's best for the health of the bear numbers there. You take out a big old male that's already done its job as far as passing on genetics and things like that. And so I said, I can be there. We can identify the right bear, and I can, tell you when it's a good shot. So we did that. He killed a nice bear on his first ever bow hunt in 2014.
What was Joe Rogan's reaction on his first kill?
He, where it was. So he's pretty subdued on that one, like pretty chill, because he's done a lot of things.
Yeah.
Where the next year I took him on his first elk hunt, and that was like, like I said, can be calm even in tense situations. But we had two bulls coming in bugling, and he said at that time, and they came in really close, like in bow range, and they're like, have you heard an elk bugle?
Mm-mm.
Have you?
On a video.
Yeah, right. So in person, it feels like it's going to blow your hat off. It's loud. They sound like some prehistoric animal. And then these big antlers come through. And so we're on this little creek bed, and coming down the ridges on either side of the creek bed were these two bulls. So Joe at that time said that, he's fought, he's done comedy, he's done, TV. He's like, that's the most intense moment he's ever been in, with those bulls coming in bugling. So and
you guys took those two down, or
no, we didn't even kill either one of them. But
I got you.
Yeah, that was like that's hunting.
Just like a real life hunting
just
moment.
Primal.
Yeah.
Primal. You're there. We're on our knees in this creek bed with the bow and arrow, and these bulls are lighting up. They think they're going to come in and fight each other because they're aggressive. That's how they do it. And they bugle on the way to announce, like, the herd's like, oh, announce our presence type thing. It's fucking intense. Yeah. And Joe said that too. He's like, this was unlike anything I've ever experienced. So that's when he was really hooked.
That's when he got hooked, and then you couldn't even talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
Like he would be like, he was so obsessed with hunting.
Obsessed.
And I love that he gets obsessed like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be a bad thing if we killed a bear? Considering our brand is 2 bears.
I think people would like it.
We should kill a bear.
Be fun. Sure.
You guys want to kill bear?
Yeah.
I'm going bear hunting in 2 weeks.
You know, I'm a master archer, right?
You are?
Pull it up. So we grew up just a regular, what's it called?
Like the recurve?
Recurve bows.
Yeah.
We grew up recurve bows, and I'm Bert Kreischer, elite athlete. Is this it? Yeah. And so I like to be sneaky athletic.
Yeah.
I like when people don't know that I'm athletic, but I'm pretty good with a bow. We have bows at the house, but just recurved. I used to shoot with the girls in our backyard. And so we're doing a set of a show, and Snoop's there. I was like, give me your bow. Oh, take a look at my form, Cam. Tell me what you think.
I think I did see this.
Take a look at my form. Tell me what you think.
What year was this?
This was like 3 years ago. So,
that shirt's sick.
Yeah. The fat underneath it is bothering me.
Yeah. How much more did you weigh there?
God, let's not talk about it.
Okay.
But the guy was trying to shoot a bullseye, and I was like, oh, I bet I could shoot a bullseye.
Yeah.
And they're like, no fucking way. And I just pull back.
Come on, baby.
Boom.
Intense. Holy
Bullseye.
shit.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we have bows at the house. I enjoy shooting. I enjoy shooting.
It's pretty good.
But
pretty good.
I thought
it was going to be, have you seen that one where the guy was going to shoot something off the guy's head and hits him in the forehead?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Was that Russian?
I think so.
They don't fuck
yeah.
around. They're just like, that's okay.
Drag him off.
Yeah.
we were in Hawaii. We were in Hawaii on
They're also
Steve
doing like
Case's
car
line.
jujitsu, like seatbelted.
Oh, that's fucking badass. That's fucking badass.
And phone booth.
Phone booth. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're out of their mind.
Yeah.
Also, every pre-fight, like if they're going to fight later the next day at the, like the weigh-in kind of thing, they'll just like crack someone's head wide open and be like, yeah. And you're like, dude, the fight's over. Like you're not fighting tomorrow. And there's no issue about it. It's never like a thing.
Tommy, let's get into bow hunting.
I think it'd be a really cool thing to get into. Oh, that's the other thing is, with Joe too, is like once you guys started hunting, his training and regimen and weight was all about, hunting's coming up.
Right.
I got to like gain 10 pounds or I got to start to, it was all about hunting.
And you've seen him be obsessive, like with the Sober October.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what he is. And gets like that with archery. He'll shoot too much. He'll be standing out in his yard in Texas, it's 240 degrees out, and just soaking, is drenched in sweat. And he shoots way more than I shoot because that's his brain.
Yeah, that is definitely his brain.
That makes sense.
Like with the hunting too, is people, it would be good for you guys to expose a different audience to hunting, because people have this misconception about bears, like there's not very many bears. There's so many fucking bears out there. They have to be controlled because we don't have unlimited habitat like back in the day. Our cities have encroached. It's, habitats is shrinking. So we have to be able to hunt them. And then people think, well, there's not very many bear. No, there's fucking a lot of bear. And also the meat's good. So people think they don't know you can eat meat. So for you guys telling that story would be incredible.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What size bow? I'm going to go buy a bow today. What size, what poundage do I want?
I mean, you'll start low because it's, when I had Huberman's jacked, right?
Yeah.
His bow, he had to start super low because it's you've shot before,
yes,
though. But when you haven't shot like he hadn't shot, it's
a unique, different thing.
It's so different. But now he shot yesterday in his yard. We're sitting there and he's like, the bow's turned up, it's whatever. But to start off, normally people are pretty low. Then your body, just like we talked about with running, your body adapts. And then you get the technique down.
What's low? What's
like 40 pounds is pretty low.
So that's a good starting point for someone.
If you get a bow, and then like if you could get up to like 60 pounds, you kill a bear pretty easily.
They had a 60-pound bow on Steve Case's land in Hawaii. And it was raining. We were under a tent, and they had their you get the like plastic pigs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were drunk, and I was like, yeah, bring the bow out. I bet I could hit the pig from here. And they're like, bullshit. And it was all Travel Channel. And I pulled it back. And it's interesting. If you've never used a compound bow, you don't know that once you get to a certain spot, it releases and you can steady yourself. So no one on our crew could get it back there.
Yeah.
And then I got it back there, fucking lit it up from under a fucking tent in the rain, drunk as fuck. And these Hawaiians were losing their goddamn mind.
Oh, wait, what do you use? What's yours at?
Mine's at 90.
90.
Yeah. But that's, you don't need to.
One other thing, because I don't want to forget to ask, because we talked about like how, you push yourself so hard and you do all these like incredible physical feats. What physically has been like, is everything kept up pretty well? Have you had like major injuries or no?
No.
So like knees, ankles, whatever.
All good.
That's
good.
Amazing.
Yeah, all good. But part of it too is like, living pretty clean.
You live clean.
Yes, and I eat.
Do you take recovery seriously?
Yeah, all of it. I got the sauna, the hot tub. I get massages twice a week. I got a massage table at my house.
Yeah.
So they come in twice a week, do that. Yeah, I mean, I push hard, so I have to do all those little things.
Yeah, you do that.
And I'm fucking old, dude.
You're
56 years old.
Fucking old.
So it's but I feel, to be honest, I feel better now than I did in my 20s when I was drinking and being a fuck up. So it's like, it's crazy what, and you look at me and Joe have talked about this because he's 3 months older than me, August, and then mine's October, but both 56. Back in the day, if you looked at somebody who's 56, you'd be like, look at that old man.
It looked, and
Wilford
also that guy looked
Wilford
like shit.
Brimley in Cocoon was 52.
Right? Yeah.
Cocoon, he was 52.
Yeah. And they're like, he's about to die. Yeah.
And you look at Joe now, he's fucking jacked, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like nowadays with the diet, with the supplements, with, we know more, we train a little better. You don't have to be old. You don't have to be old for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm still very active. So yeah, I do a lot of the little things.
That's awesome.
To keep that going.
It's awesome, man.
But what I want to say, if you guys did, there's something, when Joe started hunting, he was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to, it feels, if even shooting a bow feels familiar, even though you've never done it, because that's how we've survived.
Yeah.
We've survived as hunters and killing. So when you do it, you're like, why does this feel familiar to me? It's because that's
in our DNA. Somewhere.
It is. Yeah. It's there. This normal life that we do where somebody else is doing all the killing for us and they give us a tray with our food, that's not normal.
No.
That's not how, for fucking up until, 200 years ago or 300 years ago, that's how it ever was. It was always like, can you be a provider?
Yeah.
So when you are a provider and you're bringing that meat home to your family, it's fucking powerful.
I bet. I would love that. I mean, I know the power of when Joe gives you fucking 20 pounds of elk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for him, it's powerful too. So if you could do that and you say, hey, I killed this bear, I want you to make a meal with it. Dude, there's nothing sweet. There's nothing in life that's going to give you that type of reward.
When's bear season?
Like I said, I'm going in 2 weeks.
Oh, fuck.
You guys are active. Like why are you guys doing 5Ks now? I mean, how much weight have you lost and how much have you lost? I'm curious.
I mean, over the last few years, probably like around 50.
Because I see old videos of you.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah, like 50 pounds.
Well, I think when Tom hurt himself, it kind of...
Yeah, that was like a reset.
Mm-hmm.
It was a reset for Tom. I remember talking to Joe the next day on the phone and being like, oh, it's like when you start losing your hair, you go, oh, I got a foot in the grave. Like I'm dying. I'm the body's falling apart. And that
it's like symbolic for.
And at that moment, I realized we can't go play basketball anymore. And I was like, oh, I got to change this. But I didn't for a long time. I even got bigger. I got up to 280, probably, maybe even bigger. Who was it? Who was I talking to? I was talking to Matt Mitrione, and he said, "What's the fattest you've ever been?" I said, 270. He goes, 285 then. And I went, no, 270. And he goes, buddy, the day you didn't get on the scale, that was 285.
Yeah,
and I was
before
like,
he took a shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And so, but then I think Tommy's transformation was inspiring. And then I just got to a place where I was like, this isn't, I'd have friends in high school that I went to high school with go, this isn't who you are. Like this, I know this is a thing that, you're doing really well, but this isn't who you are. And I went out and did Amelie when I was really fat. I did Amelie and I hit a home run with the kids. I went out to take batting practice. I hit a home run and I was like, oh, this is who I used to be. And I was like, I got really into fucking obsessive almost now. I think it doesn't lend your comedy brain well when you're thinking about your workouts and you're thinking about your runs. It's better to be a fucking stoner sitting on a couch just going like, whatever. I was just gonna think of jokes all day, but I'm so fucking happy.
No, I like it way more.
I like it way more. I feel joy.
But when you're running, don't you have some good ideas?
When I'm walking.
Walking. Okay.
When I walk,
Same.
if I go for a hike, I can think real clean. When I run, my brain shuts off.
Okay. Because I know when I have to use my notes thing on my phone, because I'm like, sometimes it's weird. It's like, you think after you do a run, you'd be in a better mood. But when I'm running, sometimes I obsess about things. I get pissed off.
Yeah.
but then also sometimes I think about like just lines that are just perfect for like an article or something or whatever I'm working on. And I have to stop and remember, because it's like, oh, if you say, I got to remember that, I fucking can't remember.
Walks are incredible.
Walks are perfect.
Incredible.
And you guys,
for that.
do you guys like do voice memos on a walk or text
Sometimes,
yourself or something?
Yeah, I do voice notes, or I'll even, stop, type something out.
Yeah.
It comes to you. Yeah, but
the feeling,
the lifestyle of focusing on being more active, like, on tour,
Mhm.
like we land, drop bags, go to the gym, or drop bags, go for a run, like,
Yeah.
and
It's part of the routine.
part of the routine. And then our eating is much, much cleaner than it used to be.
Mhm.
It's like, it's pretty clean eating. Like,
Yeah.
it's always kind of in hunt of some type of protein,
Yeah.
on the road, and like,
Mhm.
I just feel better. And then it's, I'm always trying to get better sleep. Like, that's a big part of it.
Well, so you guys have never been, bigger, like as far as popularity. And it's like, do you think it goes hand in hand with like this elevated living that you're doing, like more healthy living, and now you're able to perform at a higher level?
I don't know. I know it's not possible to do the touring I've been doing if I were living the way I lived 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It would be impossible.
Like,
I was gonna
generating-
die. I was gonna die.
You're generating so much, like with all the podcasts and the fucking events and
You can't live.
I mean,
like-
that's a lot.
No, it's taxing, man. And all the travel.
But you
it wears
built
out.
your bodies up to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's in a way, it sounds bizarre, but it's kind of like our hunting season, right?
Mhm.
Like if you,
Purpose.
but like you have to be able to be on 6 flights for 5 cities this week and do, things that you got to be here at 9 a.m., here at 1, then go do the show, get on a plane, travel to the next city. If you were just drinking, eating like shit, and not exercising, there is a breaking point in that.
Yeah,
you
for
could probably do it if you're doing that at 25,
Mhm.
30 maybe.
At 51
but
is tough.
You can't do it like
I travel.
much later.
I travel with a gym. Even when I was my fattest, I was still working out. We travel with a gym inside our bus. But for me, it is, like clockwork. Every day at 6 p.m., we go to the arena's gym and we work out hard as fuck up until 7 o'clock.
Like, what do you do?
Everything.
Like weights mostly?
Mostly weights. Get on a treadmill, do an assault bike. They have great gyms in the arenas, so you can use the
Do
fucking.
you know who's
Bulls
fucking
gym.
hardcore with the working out?
Mm.
But I know he looks great, so it's not that big of a surprise. But when we got to see it in person, I was playing. I don't remember if it was like Salt Lake or one of those, one of the arenas. And as we were wrapping up, there were trucks coming in, and one of them was a massive mobile gym. And I'm like, whose fucking gym is this?
Mhm.
They're like, Tim McGraw.
Oh, yeah.
And then
He's
they're
shredded.
then one of his guys like, you want to check it out? And I go, fuck yeah. So he take me on a tour inside of this thing. And it's like, it's like a really nice gym you would find at, like, let's say an upscale hotel, like has all the compartments, sauna, cold, like, cable stuff,
Yeah.
dumbbells, bench rack, everything. And I'm talking to his guy. I'm like, so how much does he use this? And they're like, how much does he use this? They're like, he's in here probably like 3-4 hours a day.
Jeez.
And then I'm like, what? And they go, yeah. And he makes like crew members and band members
train
too. So a lot of times he'll do his thing with them from this to this time. People break, and then he comes back and does.
That's like
couple
Khabib
more hours.
getting fresh fighters in every round.
Yeah.
God.
And he
Yeah.
looks amazing.
He does. He loves wearing those tank tops with the sleeveless shirts, and his arms are freaking shredded.
he's jacked, dude. He looks great.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's,
he's like hardcore with it.
yeah,
It's awesome.
I can tell. Yeah, that's cool.
Cam,
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Just thank you.
Thanks for coming to the 5K. It was awesome. Hopefully we get you to the next one we do.
And let's kill a bear.
Let's carry a bear, and I'd like to carry a rock, maybe up a hill or something one day with you.
I'll just say it was an honor to be involved in the event, because I saw it was so much positive energy, life-changing energy. It was incredible to see what you guys kind of just talking BSing came up with this idea, and to see what it turned into. Unreal. And then just you guys welcome me and have me on the podcast, and I'm so thankful for you guys.
You're an inspiration, Cam.
You're
being
awesome,
your friend is I probably overshared because I was drunk, but you're an inspiration, and I love your videos. You're the reason we know who's going to carry the boats. If you hadn't worked him out that fucking hard, he never would have yelled that wild shit. Now it's all anyone fucking yells now.
It is. So that was such a great day. But
amazing.
Yesterday kind of rivals it. Yesterday was powerful, just as powerful to me. It was so cool to see, and so thank you.
You make me want to go out for a run now.
Let's link up again soon, man.
All right,
be fun.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Cam.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Bert and Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call 2 bears, 1 cave.